Apartment hunting in New York City is in full swing for us. And although we've been through the apartment hunting process collectively 4 times as a couple, it still never gets easier. We only have a month until we might get kicked out of our little studio apartment, but we have not given up hope, and you never know. We might just find our dream apartment.
We are starting off with an absolute gem. The views in this apartment had to be the best thing about this 1-bedroom. This was a corner unit and there was no obstructed view, so you would literally get natural light all day long. I'd say it was like an adequate amount of space, but definitely a little snug, especially the bedroom. Luckily, it had a decent amount of closet space, and I love that it had a dishwasher. They're planning on updating the kitchen a little bit before we would move in, so installing a new microwave, backsplash, etc. Also, there was laundry in the building, and this probably has to be one of the most ideal locations that we've seen in all 13 apartments that we've toured.
So like I walked out of that tour being like
you loved it. You were sold.
I walked out being like, oh, we're on the same page, we're obsessed. And he was like, yeah, we can do better. And I was like, wait,
no,
what?
that wasn't it.
I was like, wait, what? I thought we were just obsessed and absolutely wanting to move tomorrow.
No. Okay, awesome apartment, amazing views, wonderful building. Too small, just too small.
Well, it's too small for the price.
We could have been sold on it, but this would literally have a $7,000 broker fee.
Which I think we could have convinced ourselves if it was 0.
Back to the drawing board. If you didn't see our last apartment hunting video, you might be wondering what we're even looking for in an apartment.
Preferably, we're looking for a 1-bedroom apartment on the Upper West Side, and our budget is between $3,000 and $3,900, which is quite the range.
We're open to paying a broker fee. It's not ideal, but if we find the perfect place, it would definitely be worth it for us.
Since we want this apartment to be the place we start a family in, we're really looking at elevator buildings or places on the 1st or 2nd floor.
And lastly, laundry in the building. Now, things like a doorman, a gym, a dishwasher, those are all super flexible for us at this point, so we'll just see what we find. Y'all, this apartment was so promising. No broker fee, only $3,300 a month in a doorman building. It was on the 1st floor and there was scaffolding, and maybe not in the most ideal location in the Upper West Side, but we could totally look past all those things for that cheap of rent. When walking in, I could not get over how high these ceilings were, like kind of obnoxiously tall. I'd say that they're like double, if not triple, the height of our current apartment, and I would say what we're living in right now has high ceilings. Everything was going great and smoothly, and I couldn't wait to tell Lucy about this apartment until... Okay, just visited our 14th apartment that we've seen thus far. Here's the main things I'll note. Giant ceilings, definitely enough space, doorman building, cheap price, love it, till I see a cockroach. Yep, then I'm like, heart starts to beat a little fast, and you think, maybe not. I don't know, is that a deal breaker to you? I feel like that's kind of a deal breaker to me. I'll have to think about it. Well, we thought about it, and no, I'm sorry. Where there's one, there's probably plenty more where that comes from, so we didn't move forward. But do you think that's a deal breaker? Apartment number 15. This is the first studio that we're going to see. Kind of silly, because if you can't tell, we're already living in a studio. So why move to a studio if we want more space? Well, maybe I just answered my own question by asking that question. This has a lot more space. Like, a lot more space. Based off the videos, it seems like it's double, if not maybe even triple the amount of space that we have in here. So I feel like it would be really easy to make this space like a flex 1-bedroom, but let's check it out, find out for ourselves, and yeah, see if this crazy price tag is even worth it. I just realized I'm feeling a little underdressed for this apartment tour. I'm not really sure what people usually wear to these things, but I think that a t-shirt just isn't cutting it.
Tank top's not where it's at either.
I actually just downloaded this new app called Ginsmo, and it's honestly really cool. It's fun to play around with. It gives you different like fashion inspo. Okay, so here's how it works. You upload a photo of yourself, and then it will actually create like an AI version of you, which is honestly pretty cool. And then you can look through all the different like outfits that they have, and you can try on like a million different shirts and pants, which is really great for a person like me who really hates trying on clothes at the store. And now I just get to have my little AI guy try it all on for me.
Okay, I'm gonna take a selfie for my little AI self. All right, now that I have my AI version of myself, what do I do next?
So yeah, you can browse through all those different items that they have there, but if you want to wear something specifically, you can type in any prompt that you want and it'll give you that outfit. So type in something.
You guess.
Wait, what?
I said to dress me like the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, okay, Miss Lady Lib. Are you gonna wear that to the apartment tour?
This is so fun.
Okay, we should probably stop messing around with this app and actually get dressed for this apartment tour, or else I think we're gonna be running late.
Excited to see what you pick out.
Okay. How'd we do?
Dressed by Jen Smo, the new Jen fashion agent.
If you want to check out this app, we'll leave the link in the description below, but let's head to this apartment. This studio is 600 square feet, which is about double the amount of space that we're currently living in, and it shows. It was just remodeled, and we especially love the kitchen. I did ask, and we could technically put up a flex wall to turn this into a one bedroom, but honestly, I think that it would close off the space a little too much. We were really close to putting in an application for this, but at the end of the day, it's still a studio for $3,870 net effective, and that's just hard to logic, even though it wasn't a great building with some amazing amenities. So I did ask to see a one bedroom in this same building, and this one was listed for $4,200 net effective. Technically, this one bedroom had less square footage than the studio, and for that reason alone, we just weren't impressed. But it did make the studio seem like a better option. Okay, just finished that apartment tour, and low-key, kind of really liked it. I know it was a studio, but we're in a studio, and it was about double the amount of space that we're currently in. Now, that being said, the price was way more than what we're paying right now, but it did have a gym. It also is like very under construction, so like there's gonna be some workspaces. Kind of had to use your imagination. They said that the construction would be done by the end of the month. Now, I don't know if I really believe that, but I do think it was probably at least another 2 months before all that would be done. I don't know, man. I could have sworn that this listing did not mention that this building was a walk-up, but here we are, so we might as well tour. I'd say even though the apartment was kind of messy, this place had a lot of potential. Felt like it would have plenty of space for all of our things, and there was honestly something so homey about this building. Probably the biggest selling feature was that there was this massive outdoor garden space that was shared between about 12 different units. I could definitely picture us having a cup of coffee out here, calling a friend. It was just so peaceful. But at the end of the day, this apartment was unknowingly a walk-up and still had a 15% broker fee, which just isn't worth it.
All right, we are about to see apartments number 16 and 17 in our whole apartment series. We're pretty excited about these two. They're in our ideal location. There's no fee on these apartments, which is like very hard to come by nowadays. However, the one drawback is I do believe that they are both walk-ups. So desperate times call for desperate measures.
Technically, I just wanted to see this one bedroom that was listed, but the broker asked if we'd also like to see one of their studios that they had listed, so we said yes. Whoever lived in the studio last did a great job, but my goodness, $3,325 a month for a 4-floor walk-up studio? That is just insanity in my opinion. No dishwasher, no laundry. The only pro was that there wasn't a broker fee and that it had a nice cool window, but yeah. All right, we saw the studio. I think we're desperate, not that desperate.
We're just not desperate enough for a 4-floor walk-up.
But we're about to tour a one bedroom. Excited to see this one bedroom though, for only $3,495 a month, no broker fee, and in a great part of the Upper West Side. It definitely piqued my interest, even though it was a 3-floor walk-up. But to be honest, this apartment was just kind of hard to visualize. The current tenant's furniture just made the whole place feel very, very snug, and I think at this point, we're just hoping for a larger kitchen than this. This apartment would probably be perfect for one person, but maybe not for two. We just got back and feeling a little torn. Mainly,
I'm not feeling torn.
Okay, I'm feeling a little torn because, you know, these are the first realistic no fee one bedrooms, well, I guess studio and one bedroom that we've seen on the Upper West Side in our most like ideal location. And yeah, it's a little defeating to feel like, okay, we could hypothetically get something within our budget, but it's gonna have to be a walk-up. And
a 4-floor walk-up at that.
Yeah, and we just, like, that's not what we're looking for at this point. And I don't know. Or there's these, like, luxury rentals on the Upper West Side, but they're obviously, like, way more expensive. And they're honestly only, like, discounted for, like, 14 months. So that's obviously not worth it either.
And then every apartment that falls in between has just an incredibly large broker fee.
Yes.
So that's the issue, is like if we're looking for a place with no fee, we're looking at what we found today, or a luxury building, or a gem, but we just haven't found that gem yet.
Yeah. Maybe the next apartments that we tour this weekend will be that gem, but anyone's guess at this point.
I feel confident to say that, like, I am not okay with us being in a walk-up, because the next place we pick, we want it to be a place where we will, like, start a family. So we don't want to have to, like, move again into a place. Carrying strollers up and down 4 flights of stairs would just not be doable.
Yeah, that'd be impossible.
We're not, like, above a walk-up in a previous season of our lives,
Yeah.
but in the current season of our lives, or the future season of our lives.
Totally.
We can't do it.
Totally. All right, we have 3 different apartment tours that we are doing today. We are coming down to the wire. If we don't find something soon, yeah, we might be re-signing this lease. But let's see what we see today. I'm honestly really excited about all 3 of these. They all seem like they have plenty of space, which is encouraging. Some of them are a little above what we'd want to be paying, but some don't have broker fees. I don't know. It's a toss-up. Let's go tour all 3 of these today, and we'll let you know what we think.
It's so pretty up here.
It is pretty.
I feel like we never venture over here.
Okay, y'all, I think we may have found something here. Of course I say that, and it's $100 more than we budgeted for, listed for essentially $4,000 a month. But everything about this building, the views of the river, the doorman, plenty of space, plenty of closet space, laundry in the building, a gym. Maybe the only drawback is that the kitchen is a little snug and the fact that there is a broker fee. But we were feeling really, really good about this option. But unfortunately, an application had already been put in once we got there. So, yeah, maybe next time.
I think this is the first apartment on the Upper West Side where I'm like, I think I'd move it tomorrow.
I think we were just getting tired of touring apartments at this point because honestly, this 1 bedroom could have really worked for us. The price was in budget, in an ideal location, it had laundry and a partial doorman, but I would say the only drawback was that it had no natural light, which I guess I really haven't considered that much at this point because pretty much everything that we've looked at thus far had external facing windows. So yeah, I think I just discovered a deal breaker on apartment number 21. Let me write this down. Must have natural light. But let me know what you think. Should that be a deal breaker?
So we're probably not going to do that last one. Although our stuff would technically fit, it's just probably not as much natural light as we would like. As you can see, that is something that's really important to us, especially when you're living in a pretty small space. But it's not a bad building to know about for the future, wouldn't you say? We have 1 more tour to go. We're about to head out. Are you excited about this one? How do you feel?
I love the price of this one. I do think it's a walk-up, unfortunately. Love the neighborhood, but it does seem like a lot of space. Even though this was a 3rd floor walk-up, we had to tour this apartment for only $3,300 a month. This has to be one of the best deals that I've seen for a spacious 1 bedroom in a very cute part of the Upper West Side. This apartment had so much storage too. My first impressions were like, wow, I mean, I could really see us moving forward with this. But luckily the current tenant was there and we got to ask him some questions about living in the unit, and it turns out that they've had some major pest issues. Okay, well, maybe not major, I'm kind of reading into things. The broker was there too, and as he was talking, I felt like the conversation was a little bit coded, but it sounded pretty major. Okay, yes, it was another walk-up, but only 3 floors this time. And the price is honestly really killer.
Yes. Chandler asked the person living there if they had any pest issues, and he was like, yeah, we have like a lot of the little cockroaches.
I said, was it manageable? He paused and said, huh? Okay, so where are we at? What's the update? So technically we did apply for that first apartment that we saw in Brooklyn in our last apartment hunting video.
But long story short, we woke up the next day and had like this bad gut feeling. It was above our budget. We didn't feel good about it, so we decided not to move forward.
Out of all the apartments that you saw in this video, apartment number 13 and 20 were definitely our favorites.
But both of them had like $7,000 broker fees, and I feel like we just couldn't commit to that.
Plus the 20th apartment already had an application in for it, so it was like...
So we said, you take it. But it is the end of the month as we're filming this. So what did we decide?
Drum roll, please. We re-signed our lease! Wait, but before you click off this video...
We kind of re-signed our lease.
Kind
We're
of.
for sure gonna be here another 6 months. So if you're here for the apartment search process, we'll be pretty much restarting this process in about 4 months in advance of that.
So even though this apartment is feeling a little bit tight at the moment, we're honestly feeling a lot of peace about it when we were praying about staying. So honestly, grateful to have another summer here.
And hopefully this fall, broker fees really will be a thing of the past, as they are promised to be going away in June or July.
So if you want to continue following along with us in this apartment hunting series, feel free to subscribe because it really won't be that long until we're doing this all over again.
And if you want to check out the Gensmo app, we will leave a link in the description below. But thank you for joining us.
We'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you soon.